Hey guys, it's Brett from BMA here. Haven't chatted to you guys in a while, so I thought I'd do a video here today on some simple and effective Chi Gung postures that you can do just to promote sort of energy and health and well-being in your martial arts and just generally in your body day to day. If you don't know, I'm on a channel here on YouTube that focuses mainly on old-style traditional martial arts and conditioning training, endurance and toughness training, some law enforcement stuff, and anything to do with martial arts. So let's have a little go. Again, thanks to the people who support the channel and all the Patreons, and sorry that you haven't seen me for a while. But anyway, let's get into these postures. Yeah. One of the reasons I want to do this is just I wanted to do something that anyone could just pick up and they could start training the Chi Gung and a few simple things. Okay. So simple thing number one is just place your hands here. Yeah, stand up tall. Chi Gung is like moving yoga. I mean, I know there's moving yoga, but it's like martial arts yoga sort of thing. So there's lots of fine little points, but let's start with something nice and simple. Number one thing you usually have to do is get the idea of your sort of stance and the way that you're standing. Now it's difficult to do that sometimes. You don't know what imbalances you have, and that's the reason why you have like different postures that you stand in. Yeah, so postures and things you stand in might look silly, but the point is it's to kind of flatten out your body and things like that, and to get you knowing what your sort of center is and knowing about muscular imbalances and stuff like that. Okay, so first off, we're gonna pop our hands here on our hips, yeah, and that's the reason they're here. They say low dantian, but so I know where my hip bones are. Yeah, so if I'm standing and I'm trying to do like one of the postures and I'm kind of a bit like this, then I might have an imbalance in one of my hips or something that I didn't realize. All right, so what we're going to do here is you're going to have the hands here, yeah, and you're going to breathe into your stomach here. If you don't know how to do that, you can just put your lips together like this and breathe in like you're sucking through a straw, and you get the idea of how to do a stomach vacuum. Yeah, yeah, obviously that's a bit of a forced way of doing it, but we're actually going to breathe in through our nose. All right, so it's just not nose. You're not gonna try and force your breath, but you're going to breathe in through your nose, into your chest, so to hear that sound, and just raise it and lower it. Okay, as you're doing this, don't worry about the first couple of times your posture. Just stand there, breathe, 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 and just breathe with a natural volume, like a natural volume. Don't try and breathe excessively deep. Don't try and breathe out excessively long. Don't try and hold your breath. Just yeah. Because as you can see, the mechanism that we're trying to do here is this this abdominal breathing. Yeah, our hips are here. Yeah, and just do that. Okay, so yeah. Now, then when you're breathing, I want you to try and focus on standing tall with your chin slightly tucked, and imagine like there's a string pulling the top of your head. Yeah. Yeah, and this also will show you that whilst you're doing these static breathing exercises, and that's what the simple ones are, there's actually a lot going on. So you're not just standing there breathing. There's actually a movement within the stillness. There's like, there's things in your body going on. You're like, okay, I'm here, my hands are here, I'm breathing, I'm focusing on my head being back, my chin being tucked a little, and like a little wire pulling on top of my head, which is also another way of saying you want your shoulders back a bit. Yeah, and all in all, you just want to straighten yourself up, yeah, and get that posture good, and then getting it supported by breathing, or better than it would have been. Yeah, and that's pretty much as easy as it gets, just standing there breathing. But actually it's quite difficult. Well, it isn't, but if you've just come into the world of Chi Gung and you're into your martial arts or something, you're like, well, Well, there's just, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. But just try that and remember those breathing points. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I want you to add one more thing to it, which is actually quite important. Yeah. So when you breathe in, because a lot of the alignment of your spine is important about the sort of tilt of your body. So when you breathe in, I want you to, they say like focus on lightness, but I don't want you to focus on lightness because that's intangible. What I actually want you to do, and what I believe is the meaning of it, is that I want you to transfer your weight onto your forefoot. Yeah, like in other words, lean forward. When you breathe in, imagine yourself raising up, and that's why you get all this talk about like, imagine the energy raising and all this, well, I won't call it garbage, but it's, just, it's a poetic way of talking about, look, just put your balance forward, yeah, onto you. You can see, can you see how I'm shifting my balance, yeah? Now, this is now adding another dimension to your training, because you're training your breath, yeah, and then now when you're breathing in, yeah, as you're breathing in into your stomach here and everything's going up, you're going forward onto your toes, almost as if to lift your heels off the floor. And if they do lift off a bit, that's fine. But if they don't, that's fine. And then when you breathe out into your stomach, as you can see, and I'm exaggerating it a little bit here, but when you breathe in, you're focusing on like this light feeling. It's not a light feeling, but that's an easy way to describe it. It is you going onto your forefoot as if you're gonna take a step, or as if you're gonna dive off a diving board without falling forward. Yeah. So this is what you're doing. Yeah. And you often see this accompanied with hand movements. Yeah. So we'll do that next, because that helps reinforce. That's actually easier. That helps reinforce this kind of behavior that we're doing. You can see what's happening here, yeah? Yeah? And that's why often when you see like the Shaolin sometimes doing their demonstrations, they'll raise up onto the feet, yeah, and land. It's the same kind of thing, yeah? Or whatever the style of Kung Fu you see, yeah? So this is an important point. I've mentioned it before, and you don't see it mentioned in many, I've not seen it really mentioned in nearly any videos or anything to do with Chi Gung or whatever, this point of raising a bit and sinking a bit, but actually physically doing it, yeah, like your balance is shifting, yeah. Anyway, so I did see one person mention it, but then they mentioned it on their channel after I'd already said it on one of my videos, so then I wasn't sure whether they knew it or they might have seen it on one of my channels. You never know what people see, but hey, it's knowledge out there, so hey, I'm not the only one who knows it, of course. Yeah, it's just not talked about that much for some reason. I don't know, people keep it as one of those secrets or something, I don't know. Anyway, so breathe in and just go into your forefoot and breathe out as the stomach lowers. And then you're onto your heels, yeah, the back of your heels, yeah. And now, when you do any of your Qigong practice, even if it's other postures that you do, I want you to use the same kind of feeling, yeah, onto the toes, onto the forefoot. This is also really good for your feet, because it's the movement within the stillness. Yeah, in the stillness, you could be standing there doing static posture, and you'll have this little motion going on, this rocking, this flowing of the water, or of the energy, or the tides, or whatever you want to call it, or just the physical interaction of your body. So try that, and use that in your breathing practice. So now you've just got a static breathing practice where you're standing. And, you can imagine like, a Shaolin monk or some Kung Fu warrior, or even yourself or whoever you want to be, and you're doing standing meditation where, you usually just stand sort of shoulder width apart, not knees too bent or anything like that, but or whatever posture you're doing, but say it's just a normal standing one, and you've got your hands maybe out to your side here, fingers splayed, shoulders a bit raised out, everything a bit raised out, like you've got kind of balloons under your armpits, because you want to open up all the sort of circulatory channels of the body. And you're breathing in, and you're breathing out, and you're breathing in, and you're breathing out. And this is a bit exaggerated, but it's the feeling that you want, not so much the movement. So whatever it feels right for you is generally what you would go with. And when you're doing that breathing, you can also imagine this, or you can do this rocking, this kind of rocking, yeah? Okay, so give that a try. I just saw a comment there, so I'll just have a quick look and we'll move on to the next one. Max says used to do Chi Gung when you train Kung Fu. Yeah, and he says it was not sure what movements, but it was the core fundamentals of iron skills. Yeah, all these things kind of repeat themselves, Max. So that's all good, bro. They all kind of repeat. All right, so that's easy to do. You know, you don't have to be super fit or anything to do that, but if you concentrate on it and do it, you know, you'll actually start to work up a bit of a sweat or whatever, you know, just doing that. Okay. But let's move on to the next one, okay? So that's a pretty easy one, yeah? So you're just standing there, hands here, and you're doing the breathing that we talked about, yeah? And you're rocking a bit forward, and you're falling onto your heels, and you're rocking a bit forward, and you're falling onto your heels, and you're rocking a bit forward, and you're falling onto your heels, yeah? I'm exaggerating it a little. It doesn't have to be that exaggerated. You don't have to do it at all. Yeah, but it's probably something that will end up happening anyway if you stand there and breathe for long enough. Yep. You'll also start to get an awareness of like your muscles and, you know, how your body is and where your hips are and stuff like that. Yeah. And you get that through your martial arts training and other kinds of yoga training and stuff like that. Anyway, similar things. All right, so we've done that one, and you've got those core principles there of the kind of way we breathe. Yeah, which is obviously that's a different kind of breathing, but what I'm trying to show you is the abdominal breathing that we're doing. Yeah, so in through the nose, out through the nose. Yeah. You've got the rocking forward and back. Yeah, as you breathe in with the lightness, out. Okay, anyway, these are going to be static postures, so that's the standing there. That's fine, we've done that one. Okay, and like I said, another standing one is where you just stand like so. Yeah, and these are purely like for just health, longevity, body alignment, things like that, to aid in recovery. You know, if you have a recovery day, do some of these as breath training. That's kind of what they're for, yeah. It's because people are like, oh, what's this for? It's kind of Tai Chi kind of stuff. What's it? Useless, blah blah blah. You know, you don't have to do it. No one's forcing you to do it. But that's the reason it's there. You know, there's more vigorous ones as well, but also those are just for recovery and things like that. Okay, so another well-known famous one you see is you stand, your fingers are apart. You know, you imagine like there's little bubbles or balloons in between your fingers. Yeah, this is also the same as like suspending the urn. Yeah, but we'll just do simple, so we'll do it from standing here, and your hands are apart like this. And again, it's what's comfortable for you. Your feet are like shoulder width apart. Again, the weight is more on the balls a little bit, yeah. And then the same, you make it as if you imagine like there's maybe a little balloon under your shoulders, under your armpits here, yeah. Hopefully your arms will straighten out more than mine, but my arms, this is kind of naturally them as straight as they are. So I need to do more straightening practice as well, because obviously my arms are a bit tight from doing all this like wrist and grip training and all the day, all the years of punching and stuff like that. It's kind of tightened up all the muscles here, but I need to work harder on that. But anyway, I've got good monkey arms anyway. So these open out. Again, shoulder width apart with the hips. Yeah, use a mirror if you have to. Yep. Arms like this, fingers splayed, but not forced open, but just gently splayed. And again, the same here. It'll probably end up that your arms will come slightly forward like this rather than here. Yeah, so slightly forward like this. And then the same deal. Breathe in. And when you breathe in, your body weight may go more to the forefoot. And when you breathe out, the body weight may rock back more to the heels. Or keep it neutral. Completely up to you. Try it. Yeah. This gives you more to do. Yeah. And so it's only small. Yeah. But anyway, you stand like that. Nice and boring. And you breathe in the nose. Out the nose. If you want, every now and then you can add a breath out the mouth. At the end of your nose, exhale. Try and keep relaxed. Every now and then, shake off and do some range of movements. Yeah, just to check that you're not sort of tightening up, or forcing yourself into this imaginary position, because the point of this exercise is to just kind of open up the meridians or channels, whatever thing you believe, whether you believe it's meridians and channels, or whether you're a bit more like myself and you're like it's circulatory system, maybe pressure points, whatever you believe, it's fine. Yeah, but either way, it works and it helps. Yeah. So that's the same with this one, opening up. And that's the point, is that you're just trying to open up these channels. Yeah. And if whilst you're doing it, you feel like you want to move your shoulder a bit one way, move this a bit the other way, just do it as you breathe, and that's kind of the natural way your body settles and you get a bit of an ebb and flow of movement, but more or less you're still, yeah, within reason. Yeah, you don't want to lock yourself rigid. That's a different kind of thing that you do. There's a different kind of Qigong. There's a bit more relaxed. Yeah, and so try that, yeah. So that's fairly simple. Just stand there. Yeah. But again, important points are that you have to imagine like there's little balloons between your fingers, keeping them apart. Yeah. And there's sort of maybe little balloons under your shoulders, under your armpits. Yeah. And maybe under these elbows here. Just raising everything a little. And almost, you're kind of like on strings, a bit like a puppet. Again, we've got that whole idea of being suspended by a string, and this is to kind of keep the spine upright and things straight. Otherwise, we could stand there like this and we'd be hunching like this, maybe. I've seen people. I've trained people, and you'll be surprised. You watch people as they're training. If you're not aware of your body posture and everything like that, which is what the Qigong's for, you get some people who are like they're like standing there. They'll start like this, standing. And then they'll kind of go like this, and then suddenly they'll be like this, and then they'll think in their mind that they're straight, because their body just reverts back to its normal posture. Yeah. And the whole point about this is it's like if you've ever heard of the Alexander method. Alexander method was some 17th, 18th century guy. Looked in the mirror, and he kind of was a bit of a physician, and he decided that the way you stand, and I've got to keep my posture good. And he kind of, looked in the mirror, and he kind of developed these methods for stand up straight, don't slunch, don't slouch. And it's the same kind of thing. That's what I like about Qigong. It's actually really simple principles that people kind of unfortunately have clouded over with energy and mysticism. And what happens then, I'm sorry I'm ranting, but this can go into my podcast section. But what happens then is you get people practicing like stuff for no reason, or bad stuff. And it doesn't help them. Like if you could stand here all day like this. Like what I'm trying to say is you could stand here all day like this, like rigid or tense or like this, hunched, imagining energies. I'm doing Tai Chi, I'm cultivating Chi energies. You could do all these mystical movements, and I'm purposely doing these badly here, by the way. I'm not. This isn't the way they're done. But what I'm trying to say is, you could do this all day and you get no benefit other than the basic movement benefits that you would get, which is still better than nothing, but you would just get simple movement benefits, yeah, which probably still be all right. And then over the years, if you kept doing them, hopefully you would become more efficient and better, and you'd get more range of motion, and then you'd end up doing them well. But we want you to do them well from the start. Yeah. So anyway, that's a real nice simple one you can do like anywhere. Yeah, and it's just a few core principles. The points are just the same. The points, and I'll mention them one more time. Imagine that there's little balloons in between your fingers and it holds them open. Imagine there's little balloons under your shoulders, just little ones. Yeah, and that's literally it. Yeah, and just keep those points and chin tucked and a little wire on the top of your head. Keep those balloons under your armpits. Keep those balloons in between your fingers. And then breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. And if you want to, you can add the things I told you, which is in through the nose, and the body weight goes forward a little onto the forefoot, which it should be there anyway. Out through the nose, it sinks a little. Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing about these static Qigong postures is they will naturally move you to movement, to movable ones. Yeah. So static Qigong postures are very powerful, and they're simple as well. So we've just done standing here at the Dantian. We've done standing out here. Yeah, but then they quickly, as you can see, they quickly move into, well, already we've got one movement there. We've got this sort of normal ready position one. We've got to a slightly wider hands out position one. Yeah. But if you can see between those two, there's a reaching. Yeah, see? Between those two, or then back to the first one. Yeah, there's this reaching, and that's where it starts to become a bit more complicated, but it's still simple. Is that the next thing you add into your Chi Gung is every movement is a stretching and a reaching, yeah, to get to strengthen the tendons. And that's the power of Chi Gung, and this power of Tai Chi is this tendon power, yeah, that you get from lengthening and strengthening your tendons, yeah, by pushing them to their maximum range of motion, and then breathing through them and allowing them to flex, yeah. And this develops a lot of power in the tendons, and naturally you're doing it in the legs as well, because your legs are in a stressed position. But we haven't even got to that point yet. But anyway, hopefully you see the power of the movement, where the movement comes from, yeah, and why the movement is the way it is. It's not just me trying to flow and look like, oh, I'm doing Tai Chi. The movement is the way it is because of the way that your body is set, yeah, because the way you're trying to hold your body, yeah, that's the way the movement is. So from here. And the good thing is as well is that with static Qigong, there's a whole form, you can make this into a whole form. There's a form of all these motions. But if you just learn the static ones, then you can fill in the middle, because the middle is just you getting from one to the other. That's all it is. All right, so anyway, we've done this one. We've done then this out here, yeah, as you open up slightly. And then the important points, which we've said, with the balloons between the fingers, balloons under the armpits. Yeah, all right. Okay. From there, you're going to turn your hands out slightly and do the same. Breathe a couple of times through that. Now, hopefully here, what you'll start to feel is even though you're still, when you breathe in, you can feel like the fascia inside your body, especially in your hands and arms, like tightening and loosening, tightening and loosening, tightening and loosening. And this is what I call tendon washing. It's like tendon rubbing. You know, it's the same as if you put your hand like this, which is why this is such a popular posture, and you push it out to the side, which is another static posture, and you feel that like stretching and pulling. But then if you hold it there and you breathe very deeply in and then out, as you breathe out, even though you haven't moved, you'll feel all these things tension as well. Yeah? Yeah, and that's part of it. Hold on a second. Early in the morning. Kids waking up. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so try those two. It's really simple, probably overcomplicated them, but try those. So try and look at those points. Some more ones I want you to add as well. So try those two, look at those points about the breathing. Don't try and overcomplicate it, although it may have been overcomplicated already. But now going on to really, really simple is you can just do further just standing, all right? Just standing and pressing. So, all right. So again, we've widened out, yeah? So try pressing forward. Yeah, again, fingers splayed like this. Or if you want to start, you can keep all your fingers together like this. It's up to you. Maybe if you're brand new, keep your fingers together like this. Yeah, because it helps you understand like this tension. Yeah, and probably holding them in this straight position will probably already be hard. Your hand might be here, but try and keep the form. So press forward. Yeah, and this is like I'm pressing open a door. So press forward and push forward with all your mouth. Now this is kind of really, really simple, and this is almost like it isn't hard style Kung Fu Chi Gung, but it's because Chi Gung isn't meant to be hard style, but it's a really basic, simple idea. Yeah, but if you take the points that I told you before about the breathing and the movement, and then the tension that you should feel, this one's really good. So imagine like you've pushed the door open and you're pushing it, yeah? And then do your breathing and breathe a couple of cycles through this, maybe 7, through this static position, yeah, as if you're pushing out, and you'll feel this rubbing and pulling on your tendons, rubbing and pulling, even though you're not moving, yeah. And once you've got that rubbing and pulling, you can breathe a few times, like breathe once in and out, And on the exterior movement, you can wash the tendon. Yeah, so on the exterior breath, sorry, breathe in, breathe out. Yeah, a couple of cycles, static, and then on maybe the 7th or 8th one, breathe in, breathe out. Once you feel that tension, then wash it. 1, 2, 3. Maybe breathe out your mouth. Yeah, and do the same on the other side, or you can do both at the same time. But even just standing here doing it, just with, you know, with not much concentration and just me talking and pushing, I can feel that tension and pulling on the tendons and the bones. And that's bone and tendon metamorphosis that you hear about, which is the muscles and the tendons pulling on the bone, and it's like it causes like a friction and a circulation within your bone marrow. So that's how it helps circulation, not just by movement, but by tension on the bones, because our bones are alive. So that's how Chi Gung helps your bones, and they say like internal kung fu. Obviously, your bones, you're alive. They're not, your bones are hollow, sort of honeycomb, full of blood and capillaries and stuff. And from science, we've proven that if you lift heavy weights, the tendon on your bone pulling, deforms the bone. It makes it stronger at that attachment point. And that's exactly what we're doing here, because you're pushing, you're straining, you're, not like with muscles, but you're pushing everything to its full range of motion. You're then breathing through that range of motion, and then you're washing as well. So you could just feel the tendons pulling. So you pushing the gates or pushing the door. Yeah, that's a good one for you to do. If you use and you can use the little points that I told you before to make it even better. Yeah, so we've got the one before, we've got the other one, we've got pushing the gates here. Now you can turn this again from pushing the gates, make a little circle, and you come forward, and you're reaching forward, yeah. And then again, this is another one, boom, 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 reach forward. And again, you're reaching as much as you can without sort of deforming your shoulder and body too much. But you're reaching, yeah, to your maximum extent. Fingers out, yeah, fingers open, yeah, and then you're gripping as much as you can, boom, and then you're bringing it into suspending the urn, yeah, da. Now with this one, you can imagine, boom, like you're locking onto something in between your leg here, boom, like a giant pot, and with your arms, you're pulling in, yeah, like this as well. Yeah, and this is a good one. And again, breathe in and out a couple of cycles through this. I mean, this is a classic one. You see it in old manuscripts and everything. Yeah, and it's spreading the shoulder blades out. But really grab wide, like have a few breaths through this static posture. Yeah. Full breaths, excuse me, I'm speeding it up for the demo. But full breath through the posture. Yeah, full breath through the posture, and take it from there. And then you can add some movements on in the end, like make it tighter. Yeah, you can transverse the hands to the other direction. Yeah, bring them out. But we can go on to that some other point. Yeah. But you essentially you can just stand in. Also good for your legs, because you're standing in semi-high horse stance stress position. You don't need to go too low for this one, but you can. But yeah, just an easy middle horse stance. And again, feet should be, feel pretty planted, because your weight's on that forefoot. Yeah. And again, you can use the rocking that I told you about. When you breathe in, it's as if you're pulling towards you something, big rock or holding a rock, and that'll bring your weight naturally forward. And then as you breathe out, set into your heels. You can even breathe out. Once you finish your breath through your nose, you can even periodically add a breath out through your mouth. Yeah. Okay. Now, extend the same up to the sky. Yep. Again. And this is simple. Your hands go up above you, fingers splay like this. And again, you reach. And you reach as high as you can. And then you add this kind of reach to it. Yeah. And you bring it down. But for the static posture, I just want you to go from here to reaching up to there. Yeah. Breathe a couple of cycles through there. Yep. And after a few cycles, you'll set yourself 1 or 2 breaths. You might be slightly off or something like this. You'll set yourself into a comfortable position that's straight. Yeah. Then you can, again, on one of the interior breaths, stretch it up. Lower it down. Stretch it up. And lower it down. And then add to your up breath a gripping motion. Yeah. You know, your hands are raising as high as you can, as if you're trying to grip. Yeah. But if you want to keep it static, just keep breathing through this and then keep breathing through this. Yeah. Just like before where we would keep breathing through this and then we would keep breathing through this. Yeah. And then we transferred it into this and we kept breathing through this. You breathe a few cycles through this. Yeah. And notice how my hands are splayed like this. Full range of motion out. Then up, breathe a few cycles through this. And then naturally that comes to a close like that. And you can breathe a few cycles through this again and this. Yeah. But hopefully by this point, you'll start doing some moving. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see how it easily joins together. But it'll join together through your practice. Once you just relax with it, you'll feel what's right. Yeah, so you don't need someone to teach you lots of complicated movements, because that's not how these things originated. They originated from static postures that people breathed through, and then they did what their body knew was right as the next stage and the next stage. Yep. So yeah, we've gone through a couple of the postures there and a few of the breathing things, real simple stuff. You know, I don't know, only interesting to a few. What will it do? It'll only benefit you in like a physiotherapy kind of internal breath, Wim Hof style, yogic style way. Although the static position holding and the breathing and the tension training that you get from standing in these positions and going from forward to back, and the kind of planting and rooting training that you get is very valuable, yeah, for your martial arts and just in general your health and well-being, yeah, because at the end of the day we're standing in stress positions. If you ask someone to stand like this, although this is a very high horse, and people will start getting tired already after like a couple of minutes or something, but you'll be standing in these postures, you won't realize 15 minutes will go by, 20 minutes will go by, and you'll still be in the postures, developing strong legs, a strong base, a strong stance, which is great, so there we go. We've done a couple pressing up, yeah. Yep. You can do alternative presses. It's mostly in the bar dry gin. There are 8 pieces of the brocade. There's only 8. There's more, but there's 8 basic ones. The bar duan jin. Probably pronouncing it terrible, but look it up. 8, or look up 8 pieces of brocade, or look up the brocade if you want to. And there's just simple standing postures that you do. Yeah, and hopefully these points that I've given you will help you with those. Unfortunately I'm going to have to go now because I've got a day tomorrow. It's late at night. As you can see, kids are waking up. Mrs. is getting angry, so hopefully those points will help you guys out. Anyway, it's good to see everyone again and just do a bit of a medley of some kind of Chi Gung training. Chi Gung is also always a good training to do because it kind of, if you've been out of training for a while or you've been training a lot heavy in something else or whatever, it's good for like a rest day or a stretch day. And with the static postures, we've covered a couple there. There's also just holding your hands out to the side and doing the same, breathing through that same way. So yeah, static postures are just great training. You can do them. Sometimes you can get away with doing them in the gym and stuff, and people don't really notice what you're doing because you're not moving. You're just standing there. It kind of looks like you're stretching in a back room or to the side. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, geez, I don't know how we took up 40 minutes doing that, but anyway, look, thanks to the Patreon guys, thanks to the people who follow the channel. If you are a Patreon subscriber again and you've just joined, anyone who's just joined recently, I've sent them messages on Patreon, so please look for those. And again, with the Patreon thing, it's kind of about participation. So if people, I'm counting on people, depending on what level of work they want to do, kind of contacting me and saying like, oh, look, I want to do this, I want to do that. Not that I want them to tell me like exactly what they want to do, but I want them to, I'll reach out and say, look, I'm here, let's work on something. Tell me a bit about yourself, tell me about your skills, and we'll do some stuff. But obviously if they don't get back to me, I can't work on anything. So then I just think, oh well, they must just be supporting, just supporting the channel, which is also kind of them. So anyway, but yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, hopefully you guys will catch this video later on. Leave some comments and let me know how you're doing, and just everyone in general. And yeah, I'll catch you around. It's been a bit hectic the last couple of months or so with work and transitioning. But I'll put a bit more out about that when I get a bit of time. But yeah, at this moment, I'll head off to bed. Please enjoy your Qigong training, enjoy your martial arts training, and we'll go on to some more livelier videos and stuff. Yeah, when I get the chance to record a few. I'm doing a lot of training. Up on site. When I find the time, which is a mine site up, a camp where I stay. Very limited time, in the days. So it's early days and they finish late, and then you've got very limited time to eat and go to bed, wake up again early. I'm getting training in, but again, filming wise, it's like impossible. It's almost impossible to get training time, let alone filming time. So yeah, unfortunately, filming time. But I do have a week off when I come back, 6 or 7 days, which is one of my last days now before I head off again. Yeah, obviously at the moment I've got family commitments. Kids have been really sick over the last couple of weeks, very young kids as well. But things will progress. Everything happens the way it happens in life. It's kind of like a flow. Just got to flow with it. So yeah, once things open out again, that flow gets a bit more natural. I'll have a bit more time. But anyway, everyone, just know that I'm still here. Keep up your training. I do see everyone's comments, and I do appreciate them. But yeah, Anyway, guys, have a good one. And I look forward to making some more videos of Beyond the Badge as well, because it's been a year now since I left the police, and I've been in the mining industry. And yeah, it's a mixed bag of feelings. At times I've wanted to go back. At times I've then gone, no, what do I want to go back for? There's other things I'm looking to explore with a local martial art club that I've found around here. It's a small martial art club, but the guy has his own place and everything like that, like his own actual training dojo that's his, with a 2-story thing. So I had a chat with the instructor there, looking to try and bring IBMA or Iron Body Martial Arts to his dojo. I asked him, does he want anyone to do any more classes, or because he's got like a karate class going on at the moment. And I said, oh, well, you're interested in having another instructor, bringing, you know, bringing some kind of kung fu in, or the other traditional weapons, or the traditional jiu-jitsu, which I'm also, a black belt in that. So yeah, I had a chat to that instructor. So hopefully we might get something going there. But again, like I said, you just got to open up the time. So in the meantime, just watch the space. And like I said, things happen when they happen. But yeah, other than that, I'll catch you guys around. Yeah, have a good one. Oh, many.